greater value after count 1 for each in 2 value after count you miss a percent.
As far as I remember, for each, which is taken from TeX, does it for me. It ignores the space. Okay. I'm almost 100% sure, but thank you. I will have to check it. Maybe it's my mistake, but I'm pretty sure it works like that. This matter. Okay. So this is very important stuff because you use that author list in a lot of places.
And you have another percent in the penultimate offer footnote. So you expand once.
This I forgot. Exactly. That's true. This is my mistake.
You have problems with remember 4 parameters for title. How do you remember 9 parameters for author?
I do not have because it's fully automated. I never typeset these by hand.
But you have to add authors with 9 parameters.
Yes, but what I do in the document, I say author, email, city, and things like that. This is put here automatically, and this is used also automatically. I do not have to remember that outside of writing the class. So that's the point. And because I can't remember that, I have these comments here, the numbers. Because I can't remember, you're right, I'm simple. That's the point. So I use this author list in a lot of places. Because, for instance, when I need to typeset the title page, I redefine the first author and next author to typeset the names of the authors and the cities they are from. If I need to typeset the author information at the bottom of the article, I redefine them to typeset the addresses and emails, and so on and so forth. In fact, this author list is used 4 times at least, or something like that. For instance, for typesetting all the author footnotes at the beginning of the article, and things like that. Maybe there is a better way, but this is what I came up with, and it works. Of course, the need for the first author and separate next author is because of the next author also often starts with a comma, for instance. Because there is first author, then comma, next, and so on. So this is the simplest way to deal with that.
Last author.
But it's easy to have the first and then all the next ones.
But if you want something else, A, B, C, and D.
Yes. I never want it.
Yes, but XPL3 has just built-in function for such a case, which is I don't remember. It's something about rendering comma separated list.
I believe so. You know, the point is, one of the points is that I do not know XPL3. And I know it's great. Yes, I know, but another point is that maybe I'm mistaken. But when I started working on this 10 years ago, many things probably many things were either non-existent or I didn't know about them. So that's also, you have to take this also into consideration, that some of the parts of this code is 10 years old, almost. So this is also important. Yeah. Or technical debt. In fact, I could deal with the last author very easily because I have this. I could put a simple if-known test, and if I needed that, it would be easy to code. Yes, of course, but I don't need it. Okay. And one of the reasons I don't need it is that we decided to make the look, because when we started working for Wiadomości Matematyczne, we gave it a bit of a new look, to preserve some of the traditions, but to refresh the look and design. And we tried also, I'm not sure because I can't remember what was 10 years ago, but I'm pretty much sure that we tried to make it designed so that it won't be too difficult to code. Because I want it to be simple. That's a recurring theme.
Could you pass here your...
This is in shrink wrap, so it's somewhere in the...
Okay.
So, the design. A lot of the class's code is devoted to the actual design, the look and feel of the journal. So, and I won't show you that because it's more or less obvious. We set the font, we use the outside numerals, which you like a lot. One of our editors, because my friend and me are officially called secretaries of the editor's office or something to that effect, sekretarz redakcji. There are 3 editors, and there used to be 2 editors, but 3 years back, there was one new editor, and he wasn't accustomed to the old-style numerals. Well, around the time we introduced the old-style numerals, they were not in the first incarnation, and he didn't like them very much, and called them quadruple. So We have to convince him. But now he's fully convinced. I don't know how to say. Translate in Polish means it's a bit derogatory name for a short person.
A bit derogatory?
Yeah!
It's offensive, I would say.
Midget. Yeah.
More or less, yeah. Okay, thanks. So, skips and grid, what we do is that because of that half or semi-grid requirement, we define our own big skip, med skip, and small skip, which is the baseline skip, half, and a quarter. We also use these very often, the negative versions, which are not present in original LaTeX. We very seldom use these, because we try not to break the grid. But sometimes they are really useful. Quite rarely, but sometimes too. We also redefine above display skip, above display short skip, and below display skip. And of course, they are reset at the beginning of the document, so we have to say at the document. The original LaTeX versions are too large for us. We don't want the spaces around display the question to be so big. We have the page layout. This is pretty obvious. This is a geometry package. One nicety is that it turned out that it works. What's going on? Okay, it's good. It's okay. It turned out that I can even, put a conditional in the geometry options, and it works really well. So it was nice. We use crop marks if the suitable option is turned on, because we send that to the printing house and they want crop marks. Then we typeset the article header. By article header, I mean the title and the author names. We set it in a box of a fixed height, so that every header is the same height. It's obvious. We have a footnote, the title page, and footnotes for the author and for the title. One nice thing is that since the footnotes are numbered with regular numerals, Arabic numerals, the footnote for the whole article, like this article was translated by, or anything to that effect, is denoted by the star. So I wanted to differentiate somehow the author footnotes, like this author was supported by grant blah blah blah. So I decided to use Greek letters for author footnotes, which I like a lot. But of course there's no suitable counter in LaTeX, so I had to define the one myself, which is easy, but I had to do that. And I like that a lot. It comes up very rarely, because we do not often use author footnotes, but I like it a lot. It gives, some kind of an old-style feel to that. And mathematical, yeah. Image wrapping. We want to wrap images. We want text to float around images. This is notoriously difficult in LaTeX. So guess what we did? We did it a simple way. I show you that.
And not complicated because we are simple men, yeah?
Yeah. So basically, this looks complicated, but this looks complicated because I just want this image to be positioned correctly. But basically, the wrapping is done by these two commands: hang after and hang in. That's it.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what happens if the paragraph is very short?
Yeah.
Then we have this.
Okay.
And this is the example of our philosophy. This happens, but very rarely. So in the very rare case when it happens, we do it manually. If you wanted to do it in a general way, in an automatic way, it would be a huge pain. There are packages for that, yes, but if you want an enumeration, it would break anyway.
Yes.
So we do it the simple way. And it works. It really works for us. So one of my main messages is that keep it simple. Especially if you're stupid. Author info at the end, I talked about it. Sections and subsections are redone by us from scratch because of the grid, but that's trivial to typeset a section title or subsection title.
Sorry, you are preferring wrapping images because of the shortage of paper? Or?
No, because of the tradition. The only images wrapped are the pictures of the people who were nominated professors or got some prizes. So it looks like this. Maybe I will show you what it looks like. Let me take one issue. This is one of the, I think this is the exact same issue which, no, it's not the one which circulates here. So, let me find some place. Oh, here we have pictures, for instance.
Which is not correct.
Oh, this is wrong. By the way, this is the wrong version of this PDF because you can see it. Something is wrong here. But don't mind that. So usually the pictures are not wrapped, but they are in such cases like I can't remember the page number. So this is what I'm going to do now. Just a second. This is obituaries with the picture and the scan of the signature. And this is book review, which is not wrapped actually. I think I lost it. How come? I'm sorry about it. Well, there are no articles like that in this particular issue. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
That's the earlier one where the picture was not.
Let's take this one. It's somewhere here. Oh, it looks like this. So with these very short, very small pictures, it is possible for this paragraph to be short, but it happens very rarely.
Yeah, I was thinking more about mathematical diagrams. So.
No, we don't wrap them. Only stuff like that. You know, even though the journal has mathematics in its name, the mathematical articles are a small minority, in fact. There are not more than, I think 3 mathematical papers in one issue is an absolute maximum. So it's more of a newsletter. It happens, but it happens very rarely.
Martin, do you ask size the author's name for making a title?
Excuse me?
Do you ask the size the author's name in order to make a title for the files?
No. I don't. With file names, I remain pure ASCII.
Yeah, that's the question.
Why is the need for that?
Because I want to avoid problems. You know, for instance, assume that one of us works on a Unix-like box and another on a Windows box. Then we have a problem. So in general, this is my advice I always give to students. Whatever you do, avoid capital letters, spaces, and things outside ASCII in file names. Always.
And punctuation.
Yes.
Apart from dashes and maybe underscores. Yeah.
Underscores, that's a problem too.
Personally, I almost never use spaces and things. Sometimes I make an exception in my personal files. Sometimes I use capital letters. But it is a very rare thing. Very rare thing. Okay. So, this is pretty obvious. I told you already about generating PDFs. One short remark. We also generate XML files for the purpose of uploading the PDFs of the whole issue to the website. We can do it individually, paper by paper, but it's a huge pain in the neck. We prepare a zip file with XML. XML is generated not by LaTeX. There is an ELISP function which does it for us. And that's pretty much it. Because now I'd like to talk for a moment about the Emacs site, our website. I basically live in Emacs.
Yes.
The only 2 things I do outside Emacs is web browsing, and sometimes I use some shell other than Emacs shell. As you can see,
you can do web browsing in Emacs.
but without JavaScript. I know that. I use that too, but it doesn't have a JavaScript interpreter. And sometimes I need a web page which has some JavaScript. So that's the reason. As you could see, I even use the Emacs PDF browser, which is way superior to Acrobat or Events or whatever, because mainly of incremental search and things like that. So, what do I do with Emacs? Small hacks. The first small hack is ties or tildes. When I write something, I trained myself many years ago to insert ties in suitable places. But when I edit someone else's file, I have to insert them somewhere. And sometimes it cannot be done automatically. For instance, before one-letter mathematical symbols or things like that. So it doesn't make sense to find that place, go with a cursor to that place or a point in Emacs speak, delete the space and insert the type. So I redefined my type in Emacs so that it starts with deleting the space and then insert the type. It's very useful. I did a similar thing with a comma. Imagine things like this. Imagine things like this. You have something like that, and you want to put a comma after the first word. So what do? You press Alt-B twice to get to backward words twice, and then you have to insert the comma. Well, but you're not in the place, unless, of course, you have that guy who wants to insert the commas after the space. So what I do is I redefine the comma, and it does things like that. Beware, I just press a comma.
Great.
This is extremely useful, because I never want to put a comma after a space. In a rare case I do it, I just press Ctrl-1 and comma. Not Ctrl-1, Ctrl-U, 1 and comma?
No, Ctrl-Q.
Ctrl-Q, yeah. Thanks. So this is extremely useful. And I do something similar with dashes. As I told you, in Polish we use this P pauza, so I do not have the Streszczenie yet. So imagine that I want to make, put the end dashes around these, and of course delete the comma because it's useless then. So what I do is press Ctrl-C, Ctrl-dash, and that's it. And this is one of the main advantages of Emacs. I can code things like that in a few minutes. And they are extremely useful.
Yes.
And the last thing I want to show you. It's similar but not the same.
Yeah, similar, but
So the last thing I want to show you
tricks.
is this. This is something we could get at our journal. So this is a sample text in Polish. For those of you who don't speak Polish, never mind, it doesn't make sense anyway. And it has a lot of problems. One of them is double dollar signs. Another of them is Polish letters. Polish letters with no sign, and things like that. So what I do is I wrote a special Emacs command, which is called auto replace. And now look what happens. It's all corrected. Instead of double dollars, I have the proper beginning and end of the mathematical display decoration. Instead of single dollars, I have this, which I prefer. For certain reasons I do not want to talk about now. And I have Polish letters in Unicode, and I have ties after one letter words.
You still didn't change the quote sign, I think. Dzwina, yes, dzwina, wrong quotes.
No, and you'll see that in a minute. Because this is not something I want to do automatically. It's too risky.
I hope you realize the difference between the double or display equation which starts the paragraph and not starts the paragraph.
Yeah, but we do that manually anyway. I mean, doing copy editing. So of course, this is very simplistic. But what we want now to do is to correct other things. Like, for instance, dashes or LaTeX 2.0, 2.09 stuff, which is still present in a lot of places.
And will be until the end of the world.
Yeah, and things like manual bibliography references to this bibliography, and things like this. Excuse me? Yes, but it's also not correct because it cannot be hyphenated. It's not fully correct because it cannot be hyphenated. I'll get to it in a minute. So what we do now is we use another thing I coded in Emacs Lisp. Emacs Lisp is a great language, by the way. First of all, it's a Lisp. So that alone makes it great. And then it works in Emacs, which is another thing that makes it great. So
When you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
yeah. So this command finds places which are suspicious. Yeah, I'm finishing. which it finds suspicious, and offers possible replacement with tab. For instance, I can put a tie here. I can change this to E and PH. I can change it into the full version. I can delete this stuff which I don't need. I can change this into a double dash or p pausa or other stuff, and things like that. It's sometimes quite clever. For instance, it can deal with that and turn it into this, so that between the initials you have a narrow space and things like that. It's all regex based, but it works like a charm. For instance, this is turned into site. Of course, this one is probably not a good reference anyway, but this we'll deal with later. And so on. We even had like this. This is the upright D, or upright D with a thin space. Or if that was correct, I can go back to the previous one. And things like that. So this is extremely useful for manual adjusting of text. And then there is the last thing, the bibliography. This is actually an example of quite a nice bibliography we sometimes get, but it's still not what AMS Refs requires. So now I will show, I do not have time for that, so I will just show it fast, and if someone is interested, I can show it to them after my talk. We do magic, Emacs magic. So this looks like this, basically. Then this. And that's it. It's also, in fact, quite dumb. It looks like magic, but if you look under the hood, it's terrible, it's dumb, it's regular expression based, so, but it helps a lot. So this is a bit about our workflow, how we deal with editing papers written by creative authors, which is, as we know, thank you very much. And last part, I would like especially to thank Frank for multicode. You know the license for the multicode package?
Yes. Did you buy him beer?
Just listen for a second. I wanted to pay this license fee. Then I'm ashamed to say that I forgot about it. But when I came here, I thought that it cannot be left that way. So I paid some money to the LaTeX refund 2 days ago. And I want to give you one more. This is the only English language issue. It was published 2 years ago for the European Congress of Mathematicians. Thank you very much. That's it.
Coffee time and then the conference closing.
Voting.
Don't forget voting. Yes. Voting.